Today we get an inside peek at one student's small business efforts. That and more on our 11th WAtv episode of the year. Good morning, Wheaton Academy. I'm Madison Cabin. We have just over 2 weeks of school left until Thanksgiving break.
And I'm Mr. Lehman. It's Monday, November 9th. Thank you for joining us. Let's get you caught up on a few announcements.
Cross country finished up their season on Friday, running at an invitation-only meet featuring the top schools in state. This race was a culmination of the great season for both girls and boys on the cross country teams. While this was not an official IHSA-sponsored event, it was very much the equivalent to state finals. Our boys ran well, carried by Sheldon Powell, Sean Yun, and Blake Whitsock. The team finished in 15th place overall in state. The girls' team also participated and ended their season with an outstanding 4th place finish in state. Top 3 finishers on our team were Lily Levo, Emma Vega, and Kelly Bickart, respectively. Congrats to both teams on a great season.
Wheaton Academy's Project Lead Global team is hosting a fundraiser event on Friday, December 4th between 5 and 9 p.m. and Saturday the 5th from 5 to 10 p.m. It's a family-friendly drive-through live nativity fundraiser to raise support for our sponsor kids in the DR and Haiti. They're looking for student volunteers for positions during both evenings: actors, traffic directors, hot cocoa makers, setup, tear down, and other volunteer positions. If you're interested, please talk to Mrs. Gregerson or Miss Johnson in person or send them a message through the on-campus, ideally before next Monday.
Although this is a normal week on our schedule, Wheaton Academy will be celebrating Veterans Day with a special assembly on Tuesday, featuring the national anthem singer for the Chicago Blackhawks, Jim Cornelison.
Mrs. Clanky and her husband, Andy, welcomed their first child to the world last Friday. Benjamin Jude Clanky was born at 12:09. He weighed 7 pounds, 14 ounces, and is a whopping 20.75 inches long. Congrats to the Clankys. We will be praying for the health of the whole family in the weeks and months to come.
Go check out our Instagram page at WAtv to see our many stories of thankfulness from Wheaton Academy community. Here's a highlight of the 2 from the past week. Lorian Finney, a freshman, said, "I'm thankful for my hardworking family because my parents worked really hard to get me here." And Michael Obinion from the sophomore class said this, "I'm thankful that my parents chose me to adopt so I have a second chance at life." Be sure to follow us for more stories during our 30-day push.
The senior class will begin Winterim registration today at 6 p.m. Seniors, information was sent to your WA Scholar email account this past Friday. Take a look at the class offerings as well as information about internships so that you can make an informed and proper decision as it pertains to your Winterim experience. The rest of the student body will be receiving information about Winterim during our advisory time this week.
Isabel Kelch spent time with 4 second-generation immigrants, listening to them and learning about their stories. Check it out.
This is Isabel Kelch for WATv, and this week I interviewed students here at WA who are second-generation immigrants. I talked to them about their culture and experiences.
My parents are from Kerala, India. It's the very southern tip of India. It's about as different as it can get from America.
My grandparents had my dad after World War II, and then they came over here, and my dad grew up here, and same with all his siblings, and he grew up with a very strict German culture.
In Nigeria, that's where she was raised, and that's also where my dad was. He said, everybody knows everybody there.
I had to learn a lot about American culture through my friends and my teachers at school, because my parents grew up in China, and it's very different there. And I also learned English a lot later than the rest of my friends.
I appreciate the colors that they have, because they have where it's called Ankara, and it's really, really colorful and bright. I wear it sometimes, but I hide it. So and I appreciate it because the colors are really cool. They're really nice, and they bring out honestly how you are, how I feel a lot of times.
We have tea time every single day at 4. We have masala chai, and we have biscuits every single day. And there are a couple holidays and stuff too that we celebrate.
We have a sauerkraut weekend every October, and we get together, make sauerkraut, and we have different things we do that as a tradition that my grandma at least wanted to be passed on.
Sometimes I don't understand English idioms, or especially when I was younger, I had no idea what people were saying, or I didn't know certain American traditions like Elf on the Shelf. That was so weird to me, and drinking eggnog. So sometimes people would like look at me weirdly, like, why don't you know what that is?
A lot of times I feel like Chinese people are misunderstood. Like when they ask you a question, a lot of times it might seem very personal, but that's just in a way that's how they express they care about you, and that's how it's considered polite in China. So I feel like Americans need to not view all Chinese people as weird and just kind of understand it's a different culture.
I hope this helped you appreciate more the stories of the people around you. This is Isabel Kelsch for WAtv signing out.
I love that. Well done, Miss Kausch. Global cultures are super interesting. I lived overseas for a while and love learning about differences in culture and traditions and what foods that people enjoy. In our house, because we lived overseas, there's a lot of Chinese food that happens. What about your house, Madison?
Well, my family is Italian, so that's mostly all of the ethnic food that we eat. Is we make our own pasta sometimes. We have like a meatball recipe that we make really big meatballs for, so I absolutely love pasta. It's really great.
Sounds delicious. Do you make your own sauce?
Yeah, sometimes we do.
That sounds
Yeah.
delicious.
Yeah, I absolutely love it.
Lunches have looked very different since the beginning of this school year. Gone are the days of waiting in packed lines for your food. Instead, we now have a team of volunteers headed up by Mrs. Lindstadt that serve each day. My co-anchor Madison Cavan has more on this.
Here at Wheaton Academy, a student can buy and enjoy a new lunch every day. But with the world we've been living in, lunch has been slightly different this year.
I would say now the biggest change for COVID is just delivering in, bagged, sealed containers. Before, we could serve from pans, as long as we were following good protocol for health department regulations.
Due to COVID-19, we have had to do a lot of things differently around here at school, and one of those things is keeping safety regulations for lunch. Instead of coming to the commons and picking up things through the lunch line, we've had to pick things up from a bag from outside of our classroom. But the real question is, what actually goes into getting these lunches to us every day from the classroom?
I order the food a week in advance. The two most popular are Chick-fil-A and Panda Express. Those are the two biggies that the kids like. And it comes, and I have reports that I need to run, which takes it down into the labels for the lunches.
There are many different factors that go into delivering these lunches, from putting on labels to delivering the boxes to the classrooms. But the most vital part of this operation has been the volunteers.
The first and most important is having moms here to help, moms and some dads. We couldn't do it without them, without them coming. I would say we get about 10 or 12 each day, but we can do it. We did it last Friday with 3, so we can also do it with fewer moms.
So if you ever see a lunch volunteer who is working and putting the great lunches together, why not thank them and give them our appreciation for the work they've done? From WAtv, I'm Madison Cavan.
So while I was doing this segment, it was a lot of fun being able to actually see the process that goes into this, and really just the amount of appreciation that I got after seeing all of the work and all these baskets they have to fill. What is your favorite lunch that you've received from them?
My favorite lunch this year is gotta be buttermilk. That skillet is delicious.
Yes.
And then the jam and the biscuit.
The biscuit. Yeah,
That's really
exactly.
good.
It's delicious.
Really good.
I love it. So yeah, I got to follow my mom around because she was doing work duty that time. So it was actually kind of awkward. It was just the two of us in the hallway, but it was really funny. And I just made her walk around and put baskets down, doing her usual job. So
Great.
yeah, it was fun.
That's great.
Senior Rachel Cobb is finding ways to build on her interests, but also bring joy to other people's lives. Reporter Kenna Tolman has more.
Senior Rachel Cobb is not just a high school student. She is also an artist and a business owner. She started making stuffed animals in 2015 and started her business, Clover's Plushies, in 2017. I had the opportunity to learn more about Rachel and her business.
I always loved stuffed animals as a kid, and when I started sewing, stuffed animals were my favorite thing to make. And then once I realized that I could make stuffed animals custom for people, I thought that would be a really neat idea.
Rachel mostly sells her stuffed animals on Instagram at cloverpigeon.studios, but she also sells them on Twitter, Etsy, and Discord.
So usually what happens is people will send me a picture of what they want a stuffed animal of, and then send another picture of examples that I've done previously and like different styles of plushies that I offer. So they want like that character in that style. I'll give them a price quote, and then once my commission's open, if they're interested in purchasing, then they can contact me again and I can work with them to make their plush.
You can check out her business and see the different types of stuffed animals she makes by visiting her website, Clover's Plushies, at wixsite.com/cloversplushies. From WAtv News, I'm Kenna Tolman.
That is very impressive. I'm lucky when I can sew a button back on my shirt. Once Rachel made something for my class when she was in my class last year, and I asked her where she got it, and then she said, "I made it." I was totally blown away. Have you ever seen anything Rachel's made?
Yeah, well, I've actually known Rachel since 4th grade, and we usually, because we went to the same school, and our school we usually have a fundraiser each year, and so during those years she would make tons of things to sell, and like to give and help money and just sell things for people to get at our school. So it was really cool. She would sometimes bring things in for us to look at, and I was very impressed. I could never do something like that.
It is very cool. If you have been around the instrumental program, you've heard of sophomore Rowan Marr. Being the son of choral music teacher Melanie Marr, it seems like Rowan has always had music in his blood. Reporter Sergio Santana gives us more.
Among the many talents here at Wheaton Academy, one student has found great success in the form of music. I sat down with Rowan Marr to discuss his journey with the art.
Hi, I'm Rowan Marr. I'm in worship team, on jazz band, orchestra, and percussion ensemble. I also write music, and I'm a music producer. I've always loved music. I've just loved the emotion that I can get out of it and put into it. It's just always been something that's been like the first thing on my mind, and ever since I can remember, I've always just loved everything about music. I started playing drums when I was 2 years old. I was on my mom's worship team at her church when I was 4 and like playing for like big church band. I started playing piano in 4th grade, started playing bass in 4th grade, and then I taught myself guitar in 5th grade because I got bored at home. And yeah, from there I just kind of wanted to use it all together and start writing songs with the different instruments I could play.
Rowan really exudes what I see from a lot of my students, which is just a genuine love for music. And one of my favorite examples in recent months of this from Rowan is at the cross-country meet a couple weeks ago. We invited some band students to come out and play, and Rowan said, "I am going to play drum set for this." He played drum set. It was awesome. He had, I think, like 8, 9 blisters all over his fingers from playing drum set so hard. He just loves it and enjoys it so much that he couldn't help playing drum set as hard as he could. That just spreads to all my students, exudes that love.
Rowan soon began to record and produce his own music, bringing together a number of students along with him.
I started producing music at the end of 7th grade, and I released my first song with Catan at 8th grade. Since then, I've just been writing a ton of my own music and collabing with a bunch of people like Lil Stoner, Tyson, Bryce Swift, some more songs with Catan, and yeah, it's just been an awesome time. And then on October 23rd, I released Lifelong Crisis with B Swift and Tyson only. And it has gone super well so far. And on November 20th, I'm releasing 4,392.
You can find Rowan and the number of students he's collaborated with under the name Martunes on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, and many other platforms. Also, be sure to follow his Instagram for updates and new releases. For WATv, I'm Sergio Santana, signing out.
So Rowan actually was the drummer for Pit for Adam's Family, which of course was outside, and he went at it with such passion in the rain one night. He just kept going and he kept the beat alive, and I absolutely loved the commitment that he has put into doing things that he loves.
Very impressive. Lots of hard work, Rowan.
Yeah, it was. I still am blown away by that 2-year-old video. It
was great.
I could just watch that on loop. That was amazing. It was great. With all kinds of co-curriculars to choose from, sometimes it's hard to pay attention to all that Wheaton Academy has to offer. Tyler Abrams takes us down to the Idea Lab to give us a look at a more lighthearted club.
With the daily stress of the COVID-19 virus, school clubs are all that more important to students looking to connect with one another through this pandemic. I caught up with Mr. Burick to talk about what this year's gaming club is doing to help students connect with one another through a common hobby of gaming.
The goal of Gaming Club is that students can come together, hang out with each other, maybe even make some new friends playing different kinds of games. It changes from year to year in terms of the games that we play. Some years we played Flames of War, that World War II strategy game. Other years we just started playing more video type games. The past couple of years it's been focused on role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons. Today I was the dungeon master for our role-playing game. So sometimes I'm involved in playing, but I'm also all about just trying to provide a space for students to play games. If we don't have the game, we can look into buying that game and playing it. What am I hoping that students would take away from it? I just want them to be able to come down to the Idea Lab, chill for a little bit, play some games, just to kind of get their minds off of what might be going on in their lives, be it school, COVID, or what have you.
If you are interested in joining Gaming Club, they meet in Mr. Burick's Idea Lab every Monday and Tuesday during lunch and every Friday from 3 to 5. This is Tyler Abrams from WAtv, signing out.
So I've only been to the Idea Lab maybe for first semester of my freshman year because I had the 3D design class with Mr. Burick, which was really fun. And I got to do tons of things I've never done before, and he's also a really fun teacher to have. Are there any games that are your favorite or you like to play?
We love games in our family. We currently are big into the DC deck builder types, and my 10-year-old son has gotten good enough that he can legitimately beat me sometimes.
Wow.
It's super fun.
Yeah, that's amazing. Sometimes my family likes to play Uno a lot, which is a more simple game, but we can get pretty heated sometimes, so it's really fun.
I can believe it.
Yeah, for sure. From one Burick to another, for this week's Community Scoop, the marvelous Mrs. Burick will update us on what Wheaton Academy Theater looks like right now and what the hopes for the future are.
Hi, Wheaton Academy. My name is Mrs. Burick, and I'm here to give you a theater update. I keep hearing the same two questions asked a lot, so I thought I would come on here and answer them for you. The first question I get is, what's going on with the spring musical? And the answer to that is there will be a spring musical this year, I can promise you that. However, it's not going to be performed in February. It's instead going to be performed in May. The reason for that is so that we can perform it for a live audience. So that's what's happening with the spring musical. You don't have to worry about anything with it yet. There are no auditions coming up in December. Those auditions will be pushed back to the beginning of March. Hope that answers that question. The second question I get is, I've heard a rumor that there's a winter show. Is this true? Well, I can tell you right now, the answer is yes, it is true. So the winter show is going to be done in February, and this is what the winter musical is going to be. Have you ever wanted to be Evan in Dear Evan Hansen? Have you ever wanted to dance in West Side Story? What about sing in Hairspray or perform in Anastasia the musical? Well, then you should try out for the Winter Show. The Winter Show is a Broadway musical review, which means we'll be doing selections from all the musicals that you love and have always wanted to be in. In order to be in this show, you have to submit a video audition. The video audition is going to be you singing and you dancing. And all of the information on what that audition should look like is going to be available on campus in Student Center under Topics. That audition information won't be available till this Friday, so hold your horses and just chill, but it'll all be available on Friday, and we hope you come audition for the Broadway musical review. Thanks so much, guys.
That is very exciting. I cannot wait to see what Mrs. Burick cooks up next. Her shows are excellent.
Yeah, her shows are phenomenal. Like, I was just a part of one earlier, which was also a lot of compromise that had to be made. So the fact that they keep coming up with really clever ideas to still find a way to perform for others and to have the student body still be able to do what they love is really impressive.
It is very impressive and exciting. Now, let's get you caught up on 4 things you need to know for the week. Number 1. All this week, we will be on a regular schedule with our 1st through 3rd block periods on Tuesday and Friday, and our 4th through 7 blocks on Wednesday and Thursday. Number 2, our chapel speakers for the week are Jim Cornelison on Tuesday and Paul Arthurs on Friday. Number 3, with just over 4 weeks of school left before finals, make sure that you stay in touch with your teachers about any missing work you might have, or information that you still don't fully understand. Take ownership of your learning. Number 4, This is a special day for our head of school, Mr. Bolt. If you happen to see him around the school today, wish him a very happy birthday.
That's all for us today. Send us comments and story suggestions to our Instagram account at WAtv and keep checking out for our 30 Days of Thankfulness.
Thanks for joining us. From all of us in Studio 22, have the best day.